Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Phil and Rye on Listen Ups. Thank you, KK. Rye, I know you called me the other day and you told me, Phil, I think we're a little bit behind. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Summer workouts. Unofficially, we thank UConn Women's Basketball Weekly, Daniel Connolly and Dan Madigan for bringing us this news, Ryan, at the end of May. So here we are, June the 9th. And the headline, Ryan, top storylines as UConn begins summer workouts. The 24-25 season has not officially, but unofficially begun. And I know this is one of your favorite times of the year. And this is always a hit. This is always a hit on this podcast, discussing UConn women's basketball summer workouts. Ryan, I'll give you just a preview of the top storylines as UConn begins summer workouts. We had on this list injury updates. We had opportunities for the newcomers, sophomore leaps, a new page. And then they go on to post some best of social media. But yeah, I'll get into my take after you. I'll let you go first. I'm sure you know I'm going to hit hard on the topic of Paige Becker's coming back. Actually, for once, summer workouts, entering summer workouts without worrying about Paige coming off injury, right?
Right.
Ryan, summer workouts. It's hot, it's heated, and I'm ready.
Yeah, I really like to think of these summer workouts as the unofficial start to a brand new season. So I think that's really why everybody kind of feels the excitement and energy back in the building, back into UConn as all the players begin to, they're on campus again, in the building, in the practice facility, practicing with each other. So it's always really exciting as we enter the first week of June as these summer workouts begin to unfold. And like you said, there's always so much to take away and learn about the team as we watch them prepare for this brand new season. And one of those things, obviously, and unfortunately, is the injury updates. So unfortunately, we've kind of been relying on these injury updates for the past couple of years. But we do have five players coming off season-ending injuries. Yana El Alfi and AZ Fudd were both able to warm up and practice with the team at the end of last season. So that was kind of some good news. We'll see how they're kind of looking during these summer workouts. I do believe they both were able to shoot the ball. I think I saw some pictures of Yana, so that's some positive signs there. So one of the questions, how close are they maybe to returning to full speed since they were able to practice last year at the end of the season. Also, big name Aubrey Griffin recovering from her ACL injury that happened about 6 to 7 months ago now. So she'll be actually the first player to ever play 6 seasons under Gino. And I did see pictures of her shooting the ball as well, which is a really positive sign. And the other two, the last two, Caroline Ducharme and Ayanna Patterson, have they made any progress with their reoccurring injuries? So a lot of health questions I would assume will be answered within this month of June. And we also have a lot of new players this season. Caitlin Chen, of course, coming over from Princeton. Sarah Strong looking to prove why she's the #1 overall recruit, along with Ali Zabel and Morgan Shelley looking to prove why they deserve a spot as incoming freshmen. And we also can't forget about our returning sophomores. Of course, KK Arnold, Ashlyn Shade stepped up huge last year. Have they continued to put in the work during this all season? And can that translate into another great season for them? Ice Brady also looks to establish her role on this team as she's had a couple breakout moments last year. And of course, Kaden Samuel, she never really got anything going last season. Can she find her role on this team despite all the talent on this roster? And the last topic I want to bring up is the team chemistry. How's that going to look for this new season? Hopefully that's something that we can see build through this month of June and the summer workouts. only a handful of these players have actually been together and or played together on the court because of all these injuries. So definitely a lot of questions, and hopefully we'll get a lot of answers to these questions as these summer workouts begin to unfold.
You're going to really smile when I bring this up. 2011 AFC Championship game. I know I bring in football again into the conversation because that's what I thought about right away. 32-yard field goal that would have tied the game, and the Ravens lost 23-20. Ryan, that was Cundiff, Billy Cundiff on a missed field goal. The reason I bring that up, that's what I thought about right away as the UConn women's basketball season ended in a dramatic fashion. That season-ending loss. And again, I appreciate what these two brought to us on the UConn Women's Basketball Weekly. I don't know if you can relate or not. Not only that Ravens loss, but a lot of devastating losses that teams go through, especially when it's season ending. I get all of these headlines and what you just said. I appreciate it a lot. And as they said, sophomore leaps a new page. They even talked about here after the loss to Iowa in the Final Four, Gino Auriemma was especially hard on Paige Beckers. Quote, she definitely didn't get the ball enough. Man, look, as great as Gino is, people are going to beat me up for this, including you. I don't know if I want to see Paige get the ball a lot this season. That's not to me, that's just not the way it goes. To me, that's trouble when you reach March. Now, I'm not saying she can't shine. I don't know what your thoughts is on that. There's so much talent on this roster, man. I don't want to see just, and again, I love her, right? I love her. I don't want to see just Paige. I think that there's a lot more than just Paige now on this team. And that's surprising coming from me, right? But the reason I bring it up, again, you can talk about the headlines, everything you said, everything in this article. I know this is I should dig deeper into it, but I'm really not going to because I think this is really, really important. How does each player on this roster respond coming in to this new season? We're talking about summer workouts, knowing what they experience, especially the ones, not the newcomers, the freshmen. They didn't experience it. They can still watch the film. They can watch what happened. Hopefully that gets them fired up.
Yeah.
It's especially I'm watching these players that experienced what you and I saw and the whole nation, the whole country, and the whole world, rather. I'm looking at the players, how they respond coming into this new season as they took that loss from Iowa.
Well, it was definitely a tough loss, and I really hope that the players that played in that game can definitely use it as motivation. And I'm sure it was just as tough as all the injured players not being able to be out there and help their team, somehow get that win. Unfortunately, they couldn't help their teammates as they were injured, of course. So I hope everybody that was there for that unfortunate loss to Iowa in the Final Four can use that as motivation. Hopefully, they use that during the off season to get better and to be a better player going into this new season. But it's a tough topic about Paige Beckers because we've kind of discussed it, how she's a different player, a unique player from everybody else. And to me, it's just kind of how each game goes. I think sometimes Paige, when she's feeling it, I think we just need to feed her the ball. She's making shots left and right. She can easily score, 30 points each game if she's really feeling it. But other games, if she's not making her shots, getting her teammates involved, she's also great at doing that. So I think, Paige is a very versatile player. She can help the team win in a lot of different ways other than just scoring the basketball.
And this might not be the a method for every player that experienced that season-ending loss, UConn that is. But my method, I don't know about yours, Ryan, would be every time I step out on that court this season coming up, I think about what happened. I think about how my season ended last year, right? Last season. and I'm sure you can answer this before we get into comments. They're probably still asking, why did you bring up the Ravens, Phil? Well, let Ryan answer it. Ryan, how did the Ravens respond the following year? What happened after they lost in that devastating missed field goal game? What happened the following year? I know you know.
I believe they won the Super Bowl, and hopefully the same thing can happen with my Panthers this season. Took a tough loss, 5 games, got blown out game 5 last year in the hockey finals. This year started good last night, 3-0 victory. So hopefully they can pull it off this season.
Is that a method that UConn wants to follow? I think it is. Or the trend, rather. Let's go over. Jason brought up a very good comment, or wrote a good comment, I should say, on the last video. Ryan, this comes from Gino Ariema, makes bold statement about Caitlin Clark incident. Jason said, I come from the generation watching Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Bill Lambert, and Patrick. The fights were insane, especially during playoff time, and it was accepted as just part of the game. If I may, I wish to offer a perspective with regards to the WNBA. These women are elite athletes at the pinnacle of their game, yet they earn a fraction of what their male counterparts make. For decades, sports fans, including myself, were completely ignorant of the WNBA and the talent within. All of a sudden, some girl from Iowa comes in with a fancy shot from the logo and is propped up by the media to be the greatest female to ever play the game. A title given to her, even though she has not won a single championship post high school. It is not a stretch to understand why the current players in the W are out to prove the media wrong. The women in the WNBA are killers. What did the media and fanboys / girls think was going to happen? I hope Paige is watching. I'll skip down a little bit further, Ryan. I hope Paige is watching and CC is going through carefully. It will be her turn to negotiate the WNBA soon enough. Peace.
Yeah, it's a very good point, and unfortunately, about the money situation, that's something that ever since the WNBA started and been established, that everybody's had to deal with, and unfortunately, it hasn't really improved in terms of these women getting paid equal to their male counterparts, as Jason said, in the NBA. So hopefully we can start getting that ball rolling soon enough, as we've started with these expansion teams like we wanted, but hopefully we can focus on the pay in these upcoming years. But yeah, it is a very good point about Caitlin Clark, and I can definitely see why a lot of these players, and the media and everything else like that, Caitlin Clark comes in as this really big star. So I think it's tough. I think it's tough for everybody to navigate, and it will definitely be interesting when Paige Beckers comes into the league after this season. Watching her kind of navigate everything.
The disruptive one, Gino should stay out of it. Just giving his haters more ammo.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be hard for Gino to do. I mean, he has so much experience. He's been around the game so long that it's gonna be hard for him not to kind of pitch in, because he's gone through so many generations of players, so much talent. So I think he's just so familiar of what's going on, and kind of sharing his thoughts. But yeah, it's gonna be hard for Gino not to say anything when the situation's as big as something like this.
This is the beautiful thing about sports, Ryan. Every sunset is an opportunity to reset. Every sunrise begins with new eyes. So no matter how it ends, Ryan, the season before, there's always another opportunity, as long as you're on the roster, to turn it around. And that's what we hope happens, Ryan. We hope that this is the start of a legendary, and you know what I mean, legendary, unforgettable season in UConn. Listen up with Phil and Rise. Summer workouts right here, Ryan. We hope that we can bring everyone all the coverage. hopefully a lot of news this week to come as the
Yeah.
sun shines bright, right? Sun shines bright on Ryan and I.